Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are joined by Stephanie Stanfield. Excited to have her back here on the show today. And by the way, did I mention she's on the Zoom too? We got double whammy here on the podcast in the Zoom room, wherever you're watching or listening. We want to thank her for being here. President of Live Your Present Moment. And of course, Harmonic Ellipse of the Mountains Energy. We can find out more about her and her therapies. Go to the website. Also, want to point out it's harmonicellipseofthemountains.com from Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Please welcome to the show. How are you?
I am doing so wonderfully, Jill. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. This is our first time on a Zoom. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, first of all, just a quick question for you. Did you get my email about the show contents and the name today?
Oh my goodness, I did not. That's why I'm sorry. I asked earlier, I said, is there anything I needed to know? And usually that's my way of asking if you sent any notes. I did not get any notes, but I can reach out to the station right now to make sure I get them. I'm so sorry.
Not a problem. It doesn't, you and I work so well together.
Oh my goodness.
Very little stresses me, so let's just rock and roll with what we've got.
I appreciate you, and we're living in our moment right now. So tell me what it is that you wanted to discuss today.
Well, I really did want to discuss habits and how invisible they are. So one of the titles that I kind of ran up with was habits, are they good or are they bad?
Mm-hmm.
And we all have them. Our nervous system, lazy little thing that it is,
Oh,
loves to create habits. So it doesn't have to rethink through every single process.
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And got to think about our habits. We all have some good, some bad. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And some that are so easy for us, we just don't even realize they're happening. And a lot of this is like when you come into your house, you know where the light switch is, right? You don't have to think about it. Boom, the lights are on.
Yeah.
It's and it's encoded in what we call the reptilian brainstem back here, where it's stimulus response. So you think turn on the lights and your arm reaches, right? No conscious thought up here in the left prefrontal cortex is really involved. And you may not even have the conscious thought of turn on the lights, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or in driving a car. in driving a car, you even turn on your blinker almost automatically. You put your seatbelt on automatically. You do these things, but you're not really conscious of them. And this is important for us in living our life because many of our habits were established in a time where we were not consciously aware we were establishing them.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, there are just so many wonderful thoughts coming to me at this time. So like when we want to create a new habit, what we need to do is understand that the old habit has been running our nervous system for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's familiar.
Yeah.
It's known. And it's probably what I call invisible to us.
Okay.
Many times we're not even aware that we're doing it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
How did point A to point B if you were thinking about something else while you were driving? You don't know.
True.
But you're there.
Yeah, it just automatically happens. It just like we're breathing now. And now I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, am I breathing? Of course I'm breathing. It's like this voluntary thing that we just don't think. It's like we're in a state of hypnosis or trance. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So when you want to create a new habit that is healthier for you, say you want to give up smoking or you want to give up an emotional pattern has become habituated and you're not even realizing that you're doing it.
Yeah.
We've talked about my 4 self-healing skills, which are breathing and belly breathing and walk, present moment living, and awareness. So when we're in the present moment, like you and I are right now, we become more aware of our internal and external environments. And when we become aware, we can say, ooh, I really don't like that when I come to a stoplight, I get angry. And there's really no one and nothing to get angry at. You just kind of sit there and go, they did this on purpose. They put a red stoplight that lasts 2 minutes. They're trying to stop. I can't stand. And that stress builds up.
Yep.
With a simple shift of perspective and awareness that you bring up that anger at a traffic signal that is not even human, right?
It's so sadly true. Yeah.
Yeah. You can say, oh, okay, how would I like to spend this next minute while I'm waiting? I can't do anything about the wait.
No.
Safety, it's there to regulate traffic. And what can I do? Can I get angry and yell at something I just can't change? Or can I use that time for self-healing?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a change of habit. That's all that is. You come to a stoplight, your response or reaction is to get angry.
Yeah.
And you can choose differently. So I choose to do belly breathing and take a sip of water. I have a beautiful heart stone that I can hold while I'm waiting, and then I put it down when I start to drive again.
Okay.
Change of habit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you change it when you become aware that you're doing something that isn't particularly good for you, internally, externally. Because you hit enough stop signs and you start getting road rage.
It's so true. We do.
The blood flow shifts back to here, and now you're in a survival mode because everybody is out to get you. Instead of, ooh, look at that opening in the traffic that's open just for me. Now I can move over there in safety and no road rage involved, and you arrive at your destination so peaceful and so happy.
Beautiful. I like this. I like this technique. Okay.
Okay.
Continue. I'm
right.
on a roll.
We're on a roll. So a lot of your stress depends on your invisible habits that you're not even aware are activating nervous system activity in sympathetic or parasympathetic, but it's also a perception. And I don't know if you have seen those word games that come out in social media that say the first 3 words that you see are going to guide your year this year and things like that. And people see different words in that compilation of letters. And so their perception, their filters allow them to see certain words and don't allow them to see others. So your perception can guide what you see or don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reminded of this the other day when the picture of a lady kind of facing sideways and has a feather in her cap. And do you see the young lady or do you see the old hag? And both are contained in the picture, but it's your filters and your perceptions that guide your experience.
Mm-hmm.
You can change your perceptions at any time. Therefore, you can change your stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm taking notes here. Yeah, go ahead. This is good.
Hans Selye says, stress is the result of perception. And he talks about this baseline that is healthy for us to maintain. And we are designed as humans to go up in maybe sympathetic and fight, flight, or freeze and protection. And then we're designed to come back down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And come back to baseline. In our society, this is so fascinating to me, Jill, because I lived this. I lived it.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry to sneeze. I couldn't hit the mute button. It happens.
That's okay.
We're living in the moment.
Living in the moment. All right. So we have this dynamic of this is the baseline where health and wellness and great perceptions and habits that are good for us maintain kind of this homeostasis living. And then we get, somebody pulling out in front of us in traffic and we have to slam on the brakes. So we peak up a little bit into sympathetic. And then if we are aware that we've done this, we come back down and we drive in a normal way instead of now just reacting to everybody else on the road.
Mm-hmm.
In our society, what has created a lot of our illness
Mm-hmm.
and our chronic conditions is that we go up and then we think we're coming down.
Okay.
But then we have a thought about that stupid driver that pulled out in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And our stress hormones and our corticosteroids and all of those. And we pop back up and then we calm down a little bit. We belly breathe. But you notice we're not getting back down to baseline.
Yeah.
And if we stay up in this area, eventually we create what he called an artificial baseline.
Okay.
So then we think we're relaxed. We think we're all calmed down.
Sure do. Mm-hmm.
We haven't reached our baseline. We've reached this artificial threshold. So then we get stressed again, and then we calm down, and we get stressed again. And instead of coming back down to this other artificial threshold, we begin creating another one. And the further you stay away from your baseline for the longer period of time is when illness and disease occurs.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Huh.
You cannot stay in those artificial places because you're still producing so many stress hormones that your body does not have a chance to heat up at this artificial threshold.
Wow.
So this becomes your practice, Jill. This becomes your practice to spend a few minutes every day coming back into balance with sympathetic and parasympathetic activity. You can do it with the 4 self-healing skills. I do Taekwondo and Tai Chi to bring into my body. All wonderful things. And that's how you manage your stress on a day-to-day basis. You do your exercises regularly to calm yourself. And eventually you'll get back down to this baseline where, yes, you'll have blips, but they don't take you out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't re-injure you. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. A lot of clarity in this session today for me. I don't know if it was meant for me. I know it's meant for all of our listeners, but I'm considered one of the listeners and viewers, right? So keep it coming. Oh my goodness, really. On par today, my goodness. By the way, today's my 46th birthday, right? And it's just one of those days where I just don't feel right. I feel energetically off. I don't feel good. I feel like I'm sick. I feel too much energy around me because it's my birthday and I should be this, that, or that. And just not a good day so far. So my energy, I feel like, is off. So you're bringing me back, I think, to the place I need to be. So please continue.
And stop shooting on yourself.
Stop what? What'd you say?
Stop shooting on yourself.
Yep. You are correct.
Okay, take all of those out of your vocabulary and say, I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am love. I am joy. I am.
I am joyed. I am joy.
You like that joy, don't you? Okay, so I am joy. It's a joyful day today. It's a joyful day. It's a wonderful day. And see how that begins to shift?
Thank you. Thank you.
Instead of the I coulds, let's blow them out the door.
Thank you.
I am. I am centered. I am back in my body. I am in the present. And healing is happening at phenomenal levels.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
See, you do have a choice. Instead of the habit of following the rabbit trail of and telling a story about lots of energy going around, how about lots of love and light?
Yep.
It's a perceptual change. but it can make a huge difference. Huge. Lots of love and light around me today.
Lots of love and light around me today.
And the more you practice these skills, the more available when you need them. Okay. So football teams are getting ready for the Super Bowl. What do you think they're doing? They're practicing, they're practicing, they're practicing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I love this idea, and this is why I'm so glad we're on video today.
Yeah.
The stress is actually a result of a perception. Okay. So say you know you're afraid of flying, but you're not on an airplane and you're not going on a trip. So your stress level is pretty low, and your perception of your coping skills is pretty adequate. Manage my stress, right?
Yeah.
And then I say, Jill, let's go on a phenomenal trip. And you go, oh, okay, but I'm afraid of flying, but I really want to do the trip. So I'll trip. Well, now you kind of have the reality of a trip coming up. So your perception of your coping skills gets a little bit less, and your perception of your stress gets a little bit more. So now you have this opportunity for stress or for joy, just like we did. Okay. Well, then you get your tickets, confirmation, and email, and you kind of go, oh my gosh, it's getting real. Oh, okay. And your perception of your coping skills decreases because I really can't handle that's the story. I'm really afraid of flying, and I have a good reason for my fear. And then in your brain, all of the stories that support that fear come in, and you tell yourself, and this happened, and this happened. And I heard on the news recently, I guess a door blew off a 737 aircraft, right? And oh my gosh, look at that. That happened, and this happened. So it looks like your fear is real and logical, but it is actually a compilation of thoughts and emotions that have habituated to come when you think of flying. Okay. So you join me. We get to the airport. We're so excited.
I love it.
Our focus is elsewhere. And then you're at the gate. You're at the boarding gate, and you see the airplane out the window. Well, now there's a huge gap. And you are taking shorter breaths, and your heart rate is higher, and you're panicking emotionally. All of these things are happening. And you go, oh my gosh, I cannot get on that airplane. I really want to, but I can't do it.
Yep.
That's a story that you have just told yourself. And you look at me and I go, hey, really breathe. Let's get some water. Let's remember a good time. Let's remember 50 million flights that flew out and arrived safely.
You're right. Yeah.
Told a good story about flying in an airplane to have a joyful experience. And amazingly enough, you can get on the airplane and fly.
Beautiful.
Isn't that just wonderful?
It is. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh. Very enlightening today. You have no idea. But we only have 3 minutes left in the show. I apologize. It's shorter than normal because we got the late start because of the errors. How do we wrap up for today's show in a sense? Can you give us a little bit of a summary here and takeaway, and then we'll find out how we can reach you?
Yes. Practice your 4 self-healing skills all the time. Reframe your stories into the one you would like to have so that you produce those feel-good molecules and you release those stressful ones. Just let them go. Sometimes I blow up a pink balloon and I watch it and I just go, bye-bye.
Yep.
And practice them long before you need them so that they're there when you do need them. You know, you watch football players.
I know.
Have this catch and you go, how did they do that? They did that because they have habituated catching that.
All right. We're going to start building those positive habits and making things happen. Thanks to you.
Yes.
Living your present moment. Tell us how we can reach out to you, please.
My phone number is 970-379-4193. My website is www.harmonicalipsofthemountains.com. And you and I talked last time. You can schedule a discovery call so that we can chat and see what's for you? What's the best thing for you to do?
And we're bringing joy. I'm full of joy. I'm going to think that positive energy and send it my way. Thank you so much. And to all of our listeners, please do the same. Thank you for enlightening us today. Excited to have you back, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jen Malee made me smile.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.